Christopher Bell is in a deep points hole. Regular season champion Chase Elliott's points lead seems to be slipping away. And how does Chase Briscoe keep finishing in the top 10 every week? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Homestead Miami Speedway this weekend for trucks, Xfinity, and especially the Cup Series with the way these next-gen cars have raced at mile and a half. I'm excited. Today we're looking at the 8 remaining playoff drivers. We're gonna talk about who's trending up, who's trending down. But before we get to that, I grew up playing board games. I love board games. So I was super excited when my friends at Across the Board sent me a copy of their all-new NASCAR racing game. Here's how you play. Introducing Across the Board NASCAR Racing Edition. To play, you need to first add the number stickers to each car and remove the jokers, aces, and kings from the deck of cards. First up is qualifying, and unfortunately, 4 cars need to be sent home. Sorry, LaJoy. And if you had a 7 in your hand, oof, into the pot. Since I don't have traditional poker chips and it's almost Halloween, I'm using Skittles. Once you have your DNQs and the corresponding cards have been discarded, it's time for the race to begin. Whichever car number you roll moves forward a space. But if you roll the number of a car that's been disqualified, you gotta pay into the pot. Take turns rolling the dice, moving the pieces, and paying into the pot until someone crosses the finish line. Hey, happy Harvick. Any player with a 4 in their hand is a winner. Each 4 is worth 25% of the pot, so if you're lucky enough to have all 4s in your hand, boy, it'd be like you just won the Daytona 500 or the All-Star race. And just like that, you're ready for the next race to begin. Click the top link down in the description below. It'll take you to their website where you can pick up a copy for yourself. Thanks to Across the Board for sponsoring this episode. Before we talk about who's trending, let's look at the round of 8 point standings. Homestead Miami Speedway and Martinsville are the final 2 races of this round. At that point, the top 4 will advance to the championship. The bottom 4 will be eliminated. Joey Logano, via his win last weekend at Las Vegas, is the only driver locked into Phoenix. Right now, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, and Denny Hamlin currently hold the other 3 spots, but with 2 more races and a tight battle there near the cut line, everything could change. But there are your point standings currently as they run. Let's go down in order. Let's talk about Joey Logano. I know he's locked in. There's Joey Logano right there. I think we have to say he's trending up, right? I'm not sure I would have said that before his win at Las Vegas, but Joey Logano has always been great at that racetrack. Both he and his Penske teammate Ryan Blaney seem to be the class of the field this past Sunday. Joey Logano was able to pass Ross Chastain in the final laps to lock up a spot in the Championship 4, his 5th Championship 4 appearance. I've got him trending up. He has had a very up and down postseason thus far. He's got a few top 10s. He's actually led the 2nd most number of laps out of any other playoff driver in these playoffs. But his average finish of 13.7 is good for just 5th of the 8 remaining playoff drivers. He's got that win, so I have to say he's trending up. He's the only driver locked in. He's got 2 extra weeks to think about Phoenix, so good news for Joey Logano and his fans. We'll just go in order. Next up is Ross Chastain, currently plus 18. Ross Chastain is also trending up. There was about a 6 or 8 week stretch towards the end of the summer where I was a little worried about Ross Chastain. He wasn't winning races anymore, and outside of maybe Michigan, he wasn't leading a lot of laps either. But he's come on strong in these playoffs. He's led 109 laps now. 68 of those laps came just a week ago at Las Vegas, which is why I say he's trending up. Ross Chastain may be a lot smarter than we all gave him credit for earlier in the season. I know race car drivers have good memories, and I'm sure there's some drivers out there like Denny Hamlin who still have him on a list. But honestly, even with Martinsville coming up in a couple weeks, I don't think there's any chance anyone gets their revenge on Ross Chastain this year. I think that ship has sailed. The number 1 guy who would want to get Chastain back with any sort of payback would be Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin is locked in his own championship fight. Why would he do anything this late in the season to jeopardize his championship run? I just don't see him doing anything, so Ross Chastain was smarter than we all thought. He pissed everyone off but got all of his wins early in the season. Then he started to take things easier so that everyone would forget about him by the time the playoffs and the championship roll around. Genius! He's really only had 1 bad weekend the past 6 weeks, and it was the Charlotte Roval where he hit the wall in qualifying and then hit the wall during the race and finished 37th. But besides that, he's got 5 top 10s. And even in that Roval race where he hit the wall, he still won a stage before then. So I feel pretty good about Ross Chastain right now. He is trending up.
Next, let's talk about Chase Elliott. Still plus 17 to the cut line, but he entered Las Vegas, I believe, more than 30 points to the good. He just ran 20th all day. Not sure where that came from, not sure why that happened. The regular season champion has been very inconsistent in these playoffs. We're 7 races into the postseason, he only has 2 top 10s. Granted, it was a first at Talladega and a second at Bristol, but because of how great he was in the regular season, how consistent he was, I think I have to say Chase Elliott is trending down just slightly. He's still plus 17. Believe me, I am not panicked. I still believe Chase Elliott makes it to Phoenix, but I don't think I'd pick him to win the championship right now. Most of this season, he was either my first or second pick. I know I was riding the Reddick hype train for a while there. Now, if we look at the 4 drivers currently above the cut line, Logano, Chastain, Elliott, Hamlin, he's probably my 3rd or 4th pick. He might be 4th of those 4. I know he led laps at Phoenix earlier in the year, but he might be 4th of the 4 currently in. So for that reason alone, I have to say he's trending down, even though he's still in a pretty good spot. I know what y'all are going to say, Eric, he would have won the Roval, and you are exactly right. He got spun out late, wasn't his fault. But I do have to take results into consideration, and Chase Elliott has the worst average finish in these playoffs of all the remaining playoff drivers. So, I'm sorry, he was the regular season champ. That tells me he's trending down just a little. Denny Hamlin is currently plus 6, best positioned of all the Toyotas. There are only 2 Toyotas left in these playoffs. Hamlin has been the model of consistency these first 7 races. He's got the best average finish by far of the remaining drivers at 6.5. He's finished top 10 in every playoff race so far, minus the Roval, where he finished still a respectable 13th, and that race was chaotic at the end. He's got the best average finish by far, but shockingly, he's led the 2nd fewest laps in these playoffs of the 8 remaining drivers. So he's right there, but not quite there. He's led 38 laps in these playoffs, that's not that many, and 20 of them came at Talladega, a super speedway. So that is kind of surprising considering how many top 10s, how many top 5s he's had in recent weeks. All year long, Denny Hamlin struggled with consistency. He had only 7 top 10s the entire 26 race regular season. He's already got 6 in these first 7 playoff races. So he's flipped the script, and honestly, you guys might call me crazy, but Denny Hamlin has been to 3 straight championship 4s. I know he hasn't won a championship yet. You can say he's not clutch all you want, but he's good at getting there. He's good at making it to the finale. He's trending up in my opinion. He's been very consistent these first 7 races, and I have no reason to believe he will fall flat these next 2. Martinsville worries me a tad because while it's one of his best tracks historically, Toyota's been weird this year, and lots of the Toyotas just missed it there in the spring. So a little worried about that one, but overall very confident. Hamlin's trending up. Now let's get into the negative. William Byron, currently 5th of the remaining 8. He is minus 6. This is a tough one. I think I have to say William Byron is trending slightly down. He started off strong in these playoffs. First 4 playoff races, all 4 top 10s. He's finished outside the top 10 in the last 3. There's reason to be optimistic though if you're a William Byron fan. We're going to Homestead Miami Speedway this weekend. He won the most recent race at Homestead over a year ago in 2021. And then after Homestead is Martinsville, Byron also won the most recent Martinsville race back in the spring. So there's reason to be optimistic. I'm confident he can turn it around, but he started these playoffs off red hot. Last 3 weeks seems to have cooled off just a little bit. I have to say he's trending slightly down. We joke about Chase Briscoe being in the round of 8 despite only having 5 top 5s this year. William Byron only has 5 top 5s this year. He does have the 2nd best average finish in these playoffs of the remaining 8 drivers, so I'm confident he can turn it around like I said, but the last 3 weeks he's only led 1 lap. No top 10s. I have to say he's trending slightly down. If he was plus 6, I'd feel really good about his chances of getting to Phoenix. Minus 6 though, he's gonna have to be perfect these next 2 weeks. One thing he has going for him is he's qualified really well the last few weeks. 3rd, 9th, 2nd, and 3rd are his last 4 starting positions. That's great if you want to collect stage points, and late in the postseason, stage points make a ton of difference. Speaking of Chase Briscoe, let's talk about Chase Briscoe. Currently minus 9. He actually entered the race at Las Vegas minus 9 and exited the race still minus 9. So you'd think I'd say, neutral or something like that, right? I'm thinking he's trending slightly up. Chase Briscoe is riding a streak of 4 straight top 10 finishes. He has a very respectable 11.7 average finish through the first 7 races of these playoffs. And this team just refuses to quit. I can think off the top of my head of a couple races in these playoffs, like Darlington, the opener. He just fell a lap down at one point in that race. Last week at Las Vegas, Briscoe was a lap down. Not because he sped on pit road or something, no, because he was just slow. They went a lap down, battled their way back throughout stage 2 and stage 3. They were leading this race, albeit on a slightly different strategy in the closing laps, ends up finishing top 5. I don't know how they do it, but the last few weeks, Chase Briscoe, Johnny Klossmeyer, and that 14 team have found a way to get good finishes. Not collecting a lot of stage points. That's going to have to change if they want to move on to the championship 4. But at least they're there at the end. And in racing, in NASCAR racing, that is what's most important. And the last 4 weeks, 4 straight top 10s. For Chase Briscoe, yeah, by his standards, he's trending up. I love this storyline. It would be the ultimate upset if he was able to sneak into the championship 4. Remember, he won at Phoenix back in the spring, so it's wildly interesting if nothing else. So to me, Briscoe trending up, at least slightly. We've got 2 more. Ryan Blaney is minus 11. I feel for Blaney. He had one of the best cars at Las Vegas this past weekend, but got loose. Car snapped on him while he was racing inside the top 5, hit the outside wall, then hit the inside wall. Wrecked out with a fast car. You just can't do that late in the playoffs. I'm gonna stay neutral, pretty even on Ryan Blaney. I don't think he's really trending up. You can't say he's trending up when he just lost a bunch of points. He's now minus 11, but I'm not gonna say he's trending down either. Yes, he's in a small points hole, but the speed is there. He's led 30 plus laps 3 of the past 4 weekends. I thought he was in great position to win that Las Vegas race until, the wreck. They're in a points hole, but the speed is there, so I can't say they're trending down. I'm gonna put Blaney, like I said, I'm neutral on him. Let's wrap things up with Christopher Bell. This is another tough one. I think you all expect me to say I'm way down on Bell. He's trending to the bottom. And yes, points-wise, he absolutely is. He entered the weekend, I think, plus 3 or 4. He exits minus 23. Doesn't get much worse than that. But like Blaney, Christopher Bell has the speed. Bell is neutral, in my opinion. Did we forget that 2 weeks ago at the Charlotte Roval, he needed to win, must-win territory, and he got it? Yes, thanks to the help of some late race cautions and a variable strategy employed by him and Adam Stevens, but he got it. He was running top 5 at Las Vegas, looked to be a legitimate threat to win until the Bubba Wallace Kyle Larson deal took him out early. If not for that inadvertent friendly fire, Christopher Bell would likely be above the cut line with the kind of car, the kind of speed he was showing at Las Vegas. I don't think that goes away. Christopher Bell has led 157 laps in these playoffs. That's best of all remaining 8 playoff drivers. So he has the speed. He's been the most consistent Toyota all season long. Hamlin's got him beat in the playoffs, but when it comes to raw speed, winning potential, Christopher Bell still seems to shine the brightest. He's not quite in must-win territory, but he's close. I expect him to be very competitive at Homestead this weekend, and Martinsville week after, nobody knows what to expect. Not where he wants to be in points, but if he can avoid the drama, they've got the speed. I think that team will execute. He'll be a contender for the championship 4, even though he's 23 down. So I'm going to say he's neutral right now, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with my assessment of your favorite driver? Let me know down in the comment section below. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss any upcoming content. As always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. I couldn't do the show without your continued and very generous support each and every month. Have a wonderful rest of your week. We will be back Sunday afternoon following the Homestead race to talk all things Miami. I cannot wait. I've been looking forward to this race really all year, really ever since we saw how well the next gen seems to race at mile and a half. I am very excited. I hope I'm not let down this weekend. I hope you guys are tuning in as well. Should be a fun race. I will see you afterwards. Have a wonderful rest of your week.